Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Friday the 24th of May and I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. What I'm going to pull out of here is a copy of this, Freyja's Tears. Svilland Adventure levels 1 to 20 for 4 to 6 players. So, fight for Svilland. Dark clouds are closing in, the soul is torn to rot. And the dead are rising as Droggers. Hell followers are building up their strength to invade Svilland on the sly. The land of the living is on the edge of demise. However, a warband of brave warriors discovers the threat and takes a stand against the followers of Hell in the name of Freyja. Svillanders, is up to you to save your land from the dead. An epic Norse adventure for 5th edition. Svilland offers you everything you could expect to have an epic adventure in a dark, grim, Norse-inspired world. Freyja's Tears is an epic adventure designed for a warband of 4 to 6 first-level characters. The warband will start at a small village and end their adventures in the cold pits of Helheim, the land of the deadliest horrors. On the way, they will come across desecrated temples and cleanse them, play a part in the political conflicts, visit many cities and towns of Svilland, and travel throughout its dangerous wilderness. As such, Freyja's Tears is designed for players to experience the majesty of Svilland to the full. As Helheim's influence over Svilland rises, life in Svilland is defiled, and this is also reflected in the mechanics of the game. We are proud to introduce Hell Points. The warband will gain Hell Points as a result of their encounters with the horrors of Helheim, defiled monsters, desecrated locations, and the endless taunts of Hell. With each point, characters will gain a small advantage, but will one step closer to becoming Droggers. Therefore, as their characters reap their rewards, they must be on high alert for what it must be doing to their souls. That sounds like an interesting setting for a campaign, and I've done unboxings of Svilland, which is a Viking-style setting for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and I've looked at a couple of supplements since. This then really brings sort of like the kind of brings the campaign setting to life with its own campaign. So let's have a look inside. Oh, rid of that plastic. There we go. And there we go. The credits page and quite sticky pages actually. Got a table of contents and description of the adventure, what it's about. So basically adventure background, the involvement of Freyja and Helheim, and then we've got the cults and organisations involved. So looking at all the sort of like the factions and the sort of the main sort of like the protagonists of the story that the player characters were going to get involved in, and details of essentially the wilderness and warband tradition and what it takes to be adventuring in Svilland. We've got an adventure overview at the bottom there, which is fairly lengthy, I think, because essentially it needs to be, because you've got you've got a 20 level campaign here in this book. Hell points, how they earned and what they can be spent on, what their effects are. So minor hell points, you see yourself drinking a muddy sludge and eating bonus that crunch your teeth like stale bread. After a while, your teeth start to break. Your stomach is filled with splintered and fragmented bones, and you can feel the bones ripping from you inside out. Essentially, that's the narrative effect. Yeah. Before we leap into, because basically got a list of sort of like the hell points, major and minor. Before we leap into the first section, the beginning of the end, chapter 1. Got to start somewhere. And we've got advice on there. If you follow this, basically you've got how to run the adventure, and then into the wilderness. This is the first part, the first kind of encounters. Description of the location, and the hunt begins out into the wilderness. Before returning, essentially facing the that rune marked elk. And when they return, and basically cover encounter Freyja's tear and explore her temple. You've got floor plans there, and that's what they locate, find it inside. Fantastic little image there. And we move on to the city of Nafgyata. Some really nice pieces of artwork in here, though. Let's explore the Golden Hall. Floor plans of that. And discovering its secrets. Whether encounter the first of Hell's chosen, and afterwards attend Eager's funeral. And having begun sort of like with their investigations, they go on a journey. And this will be sailing out at presumably heading for the next location, crossing the seas that surround Svilland. Again, you get the feeling sort of like there's a bit of a tour of the setting, visiting all these different villages and cities, you know, basically, and it's kind of a classic kind of structure, really. You know, you are discovering just how far the reach of the cultists dedicated to hell have inveigled their way into Svilland society. So just flipping through, showing different pages. You get really feeling it's like you've got a lot of tunnels to delve into in this essentially, and it's far more tunnels than, say, dungeons, as it were. You know, so it feels a little bit more natural. You know, these are caves and tunnels which have been hacked out of the earth, rather than hacked out of the earth and given a stone dressing, for example. And then basically got a prison break for the player characters to be involved in, so presumably they aren't captured. And then we move on to another city. This is the city of the North Assembly. So essentially, you know, it is a almost a Viking city tour, if you will. And this is Kolbavik. Now, these maps are really very nice. So, you know, you get a feel of just how, you know, tight and claustrophobic they are. There's going to be an encounter with, you know, basically another of these rune-marked beasts. this time a boar rather than an elk. The next section is on the wolves' tracks. So this one is more of this is a wilderness adventure. We'll basically encounter that bloody creature. And here we are into the wolf's den, having tracked them this far. Reach an early grave where we find Hilrist crypts. This is a bit more structured in its kind of layout. In terms of organised, it's you know, basically the underground section. And then we've got Vargi, obviously Vragi, Warlord of Undeath to encounter. And there's the second layer of the crypts. And all the monsters being encountered in the crypts. Flip further forward. So this is quite a large area. You know, this is the third level, the third layer. So they are really kind of delving deep here underground. This is the next chapter, which is Cursed City, Goberun. So I haven't quite reached. That's Mugdnonvik. So let's not quite reach the Cursed City quite yet. So yeah, I mean, lots of it looks fantastic, and I'm you know, trying to get into it, but sort of like trying to pick out details from this is a little bit difficult. You know, coming to this obviously completely cold. Great artwork. Looks to be an interesting story. You know, the dead rising, pestilence, and so on. That a cult attempting to take over society. Always, it's a great story because you know you are really do feel like you are. Working to destroy an evil. A fantastic image of it. Basically, it's a dwarf. If so, that's really that's Commander of Hell. It's a Frostjotun. It's corrected, but that's a fantastic image. And here we finally get to Goberun. Takes a bit of time to get there. Beginning of that chapter. There we go. Utterly different kind of city, more organised, more open. You've got basically an image of that city at the bottom there. King of Bogaron on his throne, and complete stats for him. move on to the next location, which is Duff Drop-Off. So, moving towards the end of the campaign, and, flip forward a few more pages, so I'll just show you more of the great artwork in here. And this brings the campaign to a close with the final verdict. We've got an epilogue there, and then we're into sort of like the support materials. So we've got new spells, such as Avalanche, Bolt of Watery Death, Icicle of Death, Hollow Eyes, Insults to Spirit. Really nice, some interesting spells there. So we've got quite a selection of new spells, items and equipment. Some of them nicely illustrated. More runestones to bring to bear to the quest and the battle. I saw the Cold Flames. You can see some of these actually sort of like, you know, transporting their way out of this Svilland setting into Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in general. Monsters, so you've got all the monsters reprinted as well. So you've got all of those, quite a lot of those. So they're there for easy reference for your Dungeon Master. Same again for the allies. Not quite so many of those because, you know, there are always more threats and so on. We've got the backer list for Kickstarter, and that's it. No index, unfortunately, but that's Freyja's Tears, the campaign for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, set in the Svilland setting. Looks interesting. I look forward to giving that a read and doing a review of that, hopefully of the other supplements as well, so I can do the whole range. There's not many books in the series, but it means I can do the whole thing when I can get to it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing look. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, in this case a campaign for the Svilland setting for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook, and we'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.